Let me ask you something. How many times have you said, Este año si va a ser diferente? And then it wasn't. Not because you didn't want it, not because you didn't try, but because you started the year with emoción and lived it with costumbre. See, most people don't fail because they don't have goals. They fail because they don't have clarity. They say, quiero una vida mejor, but they don't decide what better means. They say, quiero cambiar, but they don't decide que van a cambiar. Primero, in 2026 does not need another version of you that starts strong and finishes tired. 2026 needs a version of you that is serious about their life, not motivated for a week, not inspired by a video, but committed like your future depends on it, because it does. It's about having fewer excuses. It's about waking up and saying, hoy hago algo que mi yo del futuro me va a agradecer. Because the truth is, your life in 2026 will not be decided by luck. It will be decided by the standards you choose today. Some people wait for confidence before they act. Winners act, and then confidence shows up. Some people wait for the right moment, but discipline creates the moment. And if you don't design your year, someone else will design it for you. Your job, your fears, your past, your comfort zone. So today, this is not a speech to make you feel good. This is a speech to make you honest, because you already know what you should stop doing. You already know what you should start doing. You already know what's been holding you back. The question is not, can 2026 be my best year? The question is, am I finally willing to become the person who deserves that year? Because goals don't change lives. People who change their behavior do. And today, I'm not giving you 5 wishes. I'm giving you 5 decisions, 5 metas, 5 commitments, 5 lines you draw between who you were and who you're becoming. If you take these 5 seriously, not perfectly, but consistently, you won't recognize your life at the end of 2026. Not because everything became easy, but because you became stronger. And that is how a year becomes legendary. People love to talk about goals. They write them down, they post them, they promise themselves they're going to change. But very few people change their identity. And that's the problem. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. So if you want 2026 to be different, you don't start by asking, what do I want? You start by asking, who do I need to become? Because a broke mindset with a rich goal still ends broke. A lazy mindset with a big dream still ends tired. A fearful mindset with ambition still ends stuck. So here are 5 metas, not fantasies, not wishes, 5 decisions that shape your year. Most people set goals like this. I want more money. I want a better relationship. I want a new body. But they never define the person who gets those things. Money doesn't go to dreamers. It goes to people who manage it. Love doesn't stay with people who beg for it. It stays with people who respect themselves. Health doesn't show up for people who wish. It shows up for people who move. So instead of saying, quiero ganar más, say, voy a ser una persona disciplinada con mis ingresos. Instead of saying, quiero amor, say, voy a ser una persona emocionalmente stable. Instead of saying, quiero cambiar mi cuerpo, say, voy a ser alguien que se cuida, aunque no tenga ganas. Because your future is not built by your wants. It's built by your standards. Every morning you negotiate with yourself. Hoy no, mañana empiezo. Solo hoy me lo salto. And you don't notice it, but every time you negotiate, your discipline loses. You train your brain to believe, if I don't feel like it, I don't have to do it. But success is built on things done without feeling like it. Gym days you don't want to go, work you don't want to finish, conversations you don't want to have. If you only act when motivated, your life will be controlled by mood. 2026 is the year you stop asking, tengo ganas, and start asking, es necessary? Because necessary actions don't need motivation. They need obedience to your future. Fear is not your enemy. Fear is your signal. It shows up when something matters. You don't fear things that are small. You fear things that can change you. So instead of running from fear, you walk toward it. You apply even when you're nervous. You speak even when your voice shakes. You start even when your voice shakes. You start even when you feel unready. It's movement in spite of it. Every time you obey fear, your world gets smaller. Every time you face fear, your world gets wider. 2026 is not the year to be comfortable. It's the year to be brave on purpose. Not everyone deserves access to your dreams. Some people love you, but don't understand you. Some people care about you, but are addicted to staying small. And if you keep listening to people who never left the place you're trying to escape, you will inherit their limits. You need people who talk about growth, who normalize discipline, who don't laugh when you say you want more. Because your environment is stronger than your intention. You don't need more willpower. You need better influence. 2026 is not about more friends. It's about fewer distractions. You talk to yourself more than anyone else. And what you say becomes what you believe. If you say, yo soy así, you stay that way. If you say, no puedo, you won't. But when you say, estoy aprendiendo, estoy cambiando, todavía no, pero voy, your language is not decoration. It is programming. So in 2026, you don't insult your process. You don't rush your growth. You don't shame your effort. You build yourself with words before you build results. Most people fail not because they chose the wrong plan, but because they changed plans every time it got boring. They start, they stop, they restart, they doubt, they switch, and nothing grows in unstable soil. 2026 is the year you choose one direction and walk it long enough to see fruit. Not fast, not perfect, but faithful. Decide quien quieres ser antes de decidir qué quieres lograr. Most people wake up and chase things they think will make them happy. They chase money, they chase recognition. They chase recognition. They chase approval. And they wonder why, at the end of the year, they feel empty. Because they didn't decide who they wanted to be. They just decided what they wanted to have. And here's the truth. What you have is always a reflection of who you are, not the other way around. If you want wealth, you must first become the kind of person who manages wealth wisely. If you want respect, you must first become the kind of person who deserves respect. If you want love, you must first become someone who can give it and receive it fully. Most people skip this step. They think, I'll just get the thing and then I'll become the person. That never works. You get the thing and it often exposes that you're not ready. You get the thing and it brings problems you can't handle. You get the thing and you realize your character wasn't built for it. So before you set goals for 2026, ask yourself, who do I need to be to deserve these goals? Do you need to be disciplined? Do you need to be brave? Do you need to be patient? Do you need to be honest with yourself, even when it hurts with yourself? It's not enough to say, I want a new career. You have to ask, am I someone who can show up every day, even when the work is boring? Am I someone who can handle rejection and keep going? It's not enough to say, I want a healthy body. You have to ask, am I someone who can stop sabotaging myself with excuses? Am I someone who respects my own energy and time enough to take care of myself every day? And here's the kicker. Becoming the person first doesn't mean it's easy. In fact, it's the hardest work you'll ever do because it forces you to face yourself, your flaws, your fears, your habits that you have ignored for years. It's painful. But pain is the price of growth. You see, people chase things to avoid the hard work of becoming. They chase results to escape the discomfort of the process. But 2026 is not about running from discomfort. It's about stepping into it. It's about asking yourself, am I ready to level up internally before I level up externally? And this is where most people give up. They want the reward without the preparation. They want the crown without the battle. They want recognition without the discipline. But not you. You are going to decide who you are. You are going to draw the lines. You are going to set standards for how you behave, what you allow, and how you respond to life. Every decision you make from this point forward is programming your future self. Every word you say to yourself, every choice you make, every boundary you set is shaping the person you are becoming. So don't just think about goals. Think about identity. Think about the version of you that can handle those goals without losing themselves. Think about the version of you that can wake up at 5 a.m. and do the work even when you don't feel like it. Think about the version of you that can sit in the uncomfortable conversations, face the people who doubt you, and still keep moving forward. Decide today who you are first. Decide today what your standards are. Decide today the kind of person who earns the life you want, Becca. Use when you become that person first. Everything else starts to follow. Deja de noger cantus habitos. Every morning you wake up and negotiate with yourself. Just 5 more minutes. Start tomorrow, maybe next week. And that little voice convinces you that it's okay to postpone, that it's harmless to delay. That one skip day won't matter. But here's the truth. Every time you negotiate with your habits, you are training yourself to fail. You are teaching your mind that comfort is more important than progress. You are teaching your body that convenience outweighs discipline. You are teaching your soul that excuses are acceptable. And slowly, without even noticing, your dreams shrink. Your energy diminishes. Your life starts to look like the lowest common denominator of your choices. Because habits aren't neutral. Every habit either builds you up or tears you down. And every time you choose convenience over commitment, you're choosing the path of least resistance, which always leads to mediocrity. Think about it. How many times have you said, I'll do it tomorrow, only to wake up months later and realize you never started at all? How many goals have you abandoned not because they were too hard, but because your habits weren't strong enough to support them? Your habits are not your friends. They are your foundation. And if that foundation is weak, no amount of talent, luck, or motivation can hold up the life you want to build. So stop negotiating. Stop justifying. Stop bargaining with your future. Discipline isn't about willpower. It's about obedience to your own standards. It's about saying, I don't care if I feel like it. I'm doing it anyway. Every successful person you admire didn't get there because they always wanted to work. They got because they worked when they didn't want to. They got there because they showed up again and again and refused to negotiate with themselves. Your habits are like seeds, and if you water them inconsistently, don't be surprised when weeds overtake them. But if you show up every day, even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like it, you create a garden that grows beyond what you imagined. The moment you stop negotiating is the moment you start transforming. You will still be tired. You will still be scared. You will still face days when you hate what you're doing. But those are the days that define you. Those are the days that build resilience. Those are the days when you prove to yourself that you are bigger than your excuses. Because every time you obey your habits, even when you don't feel like it, you are training your mind to believe that you are capable. You are showing your future self that you are serious. You are creating momentum that nothing can stop. Habits are the invisible architecture of your life. They are not glamorous. They are not flashy. They are quiet. They are repetitive, but they are relentless. And they determine whether 2026 will be another year of empty promises or a year of unstoppable growth. So stop negotiating with your habits. Stop waiting for motivation to appear. Stop asking permission from your feelings. Decide right now that your habits serve your goals, not your comfort. Decide that your small daily actions matter more than your temporary feelings. Decide that 2026 will not be the year of excuses, because habits don't care about intention. They only respond to action. Aprende a usar el miedo como combustible Fear shows up in everyone's life. It's sneaky. It whispers in your ear when you're about to take a step forward. It paralyzes you when you know deep down you should move. It convinces you to stay in your comfort zone, safe, small, invisible. Most people treat fear like an enemy. They run from it. They try to ignore it. They tell themselves, if I don't feel afraid, I'll be fine. But here's the truth. Fear is not your enemy. Fear is a compass. Fear shows you where growth is hiding. Fear points to the places that matter. If something doesn't scare you, it probably doesn't have the power to change your life. If it's easy, it's not transformative. Fear is the doorway, not the barrier. Every time you feel fear, you have a choice. You can shrink, you can hide, you can let it control you, or you can use it. You can take that energy, that pounding heart, that jittery stomach, and turn it into action. Turn it into courage. Turn it into fuel. Think about it. Every person you admire, every success story you hear began with fear. That fear didn't go away. They felt it, they embraced it, and they moved anyway. They spoke even when their voices shook. They started even when they weren't ready. They risked rejection because the prize on the other side was bigger than the pain of staying small. Fear is uncomfortable. Fear is messy. Fear feels like failure waiting to happen. But that discomfort is exactly what builds strength. That shaking in your chest, that tightness in your stomach, that doubt in your mind. Those are the signals that you're on that most people quit at the edge. They turn back, they go home. They tell themselves, not today. And the result is always the same: regret, missed opportunity. A life that looks like it's moving forward but is really standing still. You cannot avoid fear. You cannot hide from it. But you can choose what it does to why. You can let it define you, or you can let it refine you. You can let it whisper, you can't, or you can make it roar, watch me. Courage is not the absence of fear. Don't get that twisted. Courage is moving forward in spite of it. Courage is taking imperfect action even when your hands are shaking. Courage is starting before you feel ready, before everything lines up, before the world says it's safe. It tells you what matters most to you. If you feel afraid of failing in a certain area, that's usually where your heart is. That's where the potential is. That's where growth is waiting. So instead of hiding, let fear guide you. Let it push you. Let it be the engine that drives your hustle. When you feel it, say, good, this matters. I'm doing the right thing. Use the discomfort as proof that you're alive, that you're growing, that you're about to level up. In 2026, the people who win are not the ones without fear. They are the ones who feel it and move through it. They are the ones who let fear sharpen them instead of paralyze them. They are the ones who see fear and whisper, you're going to make me better. Fear is not a signal to stop. Fear is a signal to pay attention, lean in, and act. It's fuel for the people who are serious about change. If you learn to harness fear, it becomes energy. It becomes courage. It becomes momentum. It becomes proof that you are alive, ambitious, and unstoppable. Rodeia de personas que respetan tu visión. One of the most overlooked secrets of success is simple. The people around you matter more than you think. We like to say, I can do this myself. But the truth is, your environment will either lift you up or drag you down. Every person you spend time with has an invisible influence on your thoughts, your habits, your confidence, and even your dreams. Some people love you, but they will never understand your vision. They will laugh when you dream too big. They will question every step you take forward. They may be well-intentioned, but their mindset is small, and small minds are contagious. Other people are comfortable in mediocrity. They will invite you to join them in just getting by. They will make you feel guilty for striving. They will act like ambition is selfish, like wanting more is greedy, like stepping up is somehow wrong. And if you let those people have influence over your life, guess what? You will start thinking small too. You will start lowering your standards. You will start negotiating with your own potential. You need people who see what you see, people who respect your vision, even if they don't fully understand it, people who cheer for your progress, people who hold you accountable when you slack, people who speak truth even when it's uncomfortable. Because when you surround yourself with those kinds of people, something magical happens. Your mind stretches, your confidence grows, your energy expands. You begin to believe that the life you're reaching for is not just possible, it's inevitable. Your circle is not just about friends, it's about influence. It's about influence. It's about the voices that echo in your mind when you are alone. If those voices are full of doubt, hesitation, and negativity, they will drown out your ambition. If those voices are full of encouragement, wisdom, and clarity, they will amplify your potential. Every successful person you admire has a strong circle, not because they are lucky, not because they are smarter, but because they chose to align with people who elevated them, people who inspired them to be better, people who made them uncomfortable in the right way so they could grow. This is why 2026 cannot be just another year of the same old influences. You cannot keep the same toxic conversations, the same doubtful friends, the same environment that whispers. You can't. You have to be ruthless with your environment. You have to protect your energy. You have to create space for people who challenge you, support you, and inspire you. This doesn't mean you cut everyone off, but it does mean you prioritize your vision over comfort. You prioritize your growth over temporary friendships. You prioritize your future over short-term approval, because the wrong circle will make your goals feel impossible. They will make your dreams feel unrealistic. They will make your effort feel wasted. And the right circle will make the impossible feel within reach. They will push you to show up when you want to quit. They will celebrate the wins you've been waiting for. They will remind you that your vision is bigger than your fear. So in 2026, pay attention to who you let close. Pay attention to whose words shape your day. Pay attention to whose opinions guide your choices. Your future self will thank you for surrounding yourself with people who believe in your vision, who respect your hustle, and who refuse to let you settle for less. Can be a two-former de blart. You talk to yourself more than anyone else in your life. Every single day, you have hundreds of conversations with yourself, and most of them go unnoticed. Most of them are harsh. Most of them are critical. Most of them are lying to you about what you're capable of. The way you speak to yourself sets the tone for everything. It shapes your confidence. It shapes your choices. It shapes your energy. If you speak like a victim, you will act like a victim. If you speak like a loser, you will settle for losing. If you speak with doubt, your actions will be filled with hesitation. Most people think they're just being realistic when they criticize themselves. They say, I'm just telling myself the truth. But that's a trap. The truth is not a weapon to beat yourself with. The truth is a tool to build yourself up, to correct yourself, to guide. Yourself toward growth. You will never achieve big goals if your inner voice is small. You will never step into the life you deserve if your own words tell you to stay in line, to stay quiet, to stay safe. Every time you say, I can't, I'm not ready, or I'm not enough, you're programming your mind to stay stuck. You are creating invisible chains that hold you down, even when the opportunity is right in front of you. But what if you flipped it? What if you spoke to yourself the way a coach would speak to a champion? What if every word you said to yourself was a reminder of your power, your ability, and your potential? I'm learning. I'm growing. I can figure this out. I'm capable of more than I realize. These words are not fake. They are not denial. They are programming. They are signals to your brain that say, I am serious about change. I am serious about growth. I am serious about becoming my best self. And here's the thing, changing your self-talk is hard because your brain is used to old patterns. It's used to self-doubt. It's used to hesitation. It's used to excuses. But the second you start talking to yourself differently, your brain starts looking for proof. It starts looking for evidence that your words are true. It starts seeking action that matches your new language. You can't underestimate the power of this. Your words shape your habits, your choices, your courage, and your persistence. Every day that you speak to yourself with negativity, you weaken your resolve. Every day that you speak with belief, you strengthen your foundation. In 2026, your inner dialogue cannot be optional. You cannot let old fears, old doubts, and old voices run your mind. You must be intentional about what you tell yourself, about how you explain your journey, and about the words you use to define your identity. Your self-talk is the soil in which your dreams grow. If it's poisoned with criticism, your goals will struggle to survive. If it's fertilized with encouragement, your potential will bloom. And the best part, when you start changing your words, the world begins to notice. Your actions align with your language, your confidence rises, your energy shifts. Opportunities that once felt impossible start to feel inevitable. So in 2026, pay attention to how you talk to yourself. Correct the lies, bad amplify the truth. Speak like the person you are becoming, not the person you used to be. Compromedica con solo plan, siguelo hasta el final solo plan, siguelo hasta don't because they don't have ideas, not because they don't have dreams. They fail because they can't stick to a plan. They start, they stop, they doubt, they switch. And in the mid-dale of it all, they convince themselves that inconsistency is fine. But consistency is everything. You cannot grow a tree by planting seeds in 10 different places and hoping one of them sticks. You cannot build wealth by trying 20 different strategies and quitting half of them. You cannot build a life of purpose by chasing every shiny object that crosses your path. A single plan, executed with focus and discipline, beats 10 plans done halfway every single time. Here's the truth. Your future is built by small, repeated actions, by the choices you make day after day, week after week, month after month. Every time you give up, you teach yourself that quitting is an option. Every time you stay the course, you teach yourself that you are capable of more than you thought. Commitment is not glamorous, it is boring, it is repetitive, it is tedious, but it is unstoppable. Because when you follow through, you build momentum. And momentum is what carries you through the hard days. Momentum is what keeps you going when motivation disappears. Momentum is what transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary results. Most people think they need to feel motivated every day to succeed. That's a lie. Motivation is temporary. Discipline is permanent. Commitment is permanent. Commitment is not a feeling, it's a decision. And that decision is the difference between those who dream and those who achieve. You have to choose a plan and stick with it, even when it's hard, even when you're tired, even when the world tells you it's time to quit. You have to stay faithful to the path you chose because that path is building something invisible. Character, resilience, confidence, and experience. Every great success story you have ever heard is the story of someone who stayed the course. They failed. They stumbled, they got discouraged, but they didn't stop, they didn't switch, they didn't let fear or doubt derail them. They committed to the process, and the process delivered the results. Your plan doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be exciting. It just has to be followed every day without excuse. This is where most people give up, right before the breakthrough, right when the results start to show, but not fully, right when it's tempting to chase something new. Because it seems easier or faster, that's the moment you must dig in. That's the moment you must remind yourself why you started. That's the moment you must prove to yourself that you are not someone who quits halfway. Because quitting never makes life easier. It only makes it shorter. It only makes it harder next time. It only teaches your future self that giving up is acceptable. 2026 is the year you refuse to quit, the year you honor your plan, the year you respect the process, the year you understand that success is not a sprint. It's a commitment. It's a promise to yourself that you will follow through no matter what. You don't need more ideas. You don't need more motivation. You don't need more luck. You need commitment. Commitment to one plan. Commitment to your future. Commitment to your future. Commitment to becoming the person who can see it through no matter how long it takes.